Hey everyone, welcome back to the Bible in a Year read through. Today we're going to be jumping around in a few different books of the Bible, but we are starting in 1 Chronicles 8 verses 29 through 40 and 1 Chronicles 9 verse 1. And both of these passages are relevant to genealogies, and it just gives us a detailed genealogy of the tribe of Benjamin and the lineage of Saul. So Daniel 4 is our next chapter, and it's our next passage, and it's the whole chapter. And it's a summary of King Nebuchadnezzar's dream about a great tree. This tree it represented his own power and his kingdom and the authority that he held, which is then ordered to be cut down, leaving only the stump as a divine punishment for the king's pride. Daniel interprets this dream for the king and tells him that his kingdom will be taken away and he will live as a wild animal for 7 years until he acknowledges that God is the Most High and that God reigns above all. After these 7 years of eating grass and living with the animals, he regains his sanity and finally acknowledges that God is sovereign, that God reigns above all, and this leads to his restoration. And this is kind of a warning against pride. This chapter ends by saying, Nebuchadnezzar is declaring that the Lord is above all and that he can and will humble the proud. Our next passage is Ezekiel 40, 1 through 37. And this describes this detailed vision of a new temple and its surroundings that the prophet Ezekiel receives. Ezekiel is guided through this vision by a divine guide, and he's going through the temple and he's taking measurements of all the walls and all the details and everything within it. And he's just kind of recounting like everything that he's seeing as he's being guided through this temple. And this vision of a new temple is offered to the Israelites while they're exiled. So it's really such an instance of hope and reassurance for a future restoration for their people, which is so awesome. I feel like there is such a theme of God's goodness and God's promise and God's restoration through all of these readings today. Even with, the lineages, God, and, promised his people, he gives them a divine lineage. He gives them a promise and a purpose, and, he gives them hope for the future. There's King Nebuchadnezzar, who is humbled and has to go through 7 years of this crazy tribulation, but in the end is restored to even more than he had before because he acknowledged that the Lord reigns above all and he is sovereign. And at the end of our reading, we see that even the Israelites in their exile are offered hope and reassurance with this vision of a new temple. So it's really encouraging today to just see that no matter what the situation, no matter what the circumstances, there is always an offer of hope. There's always an offer of restoration, for those who put their trust and their hope and their faith in God, the God who is above all, the God who is always in control and is sovereign over everything. So I hope that encourages you today. We'll see you tomorrow for more Bible in a Year.